Couples come into me all the time saying that the number one problem in their relationship is communication. And what I have to tell them every time is they're wrong. If you're thinking that, sorry, you're off. The real problem in all relationships is competition. And that's why you're not communicating. So you have to understand that you're competing in the couple all the time. You're competing for resources like time and money. So we end up saying things like, it's your turn to put away the dishes, or you need to pull your weight, or it needs to be fair, or my favorite is always something around, you have to take things off my plate. I have too much on my plate. I need you to take things off my plate. And what I always say to couples is, it's the same plate. It's the same plate, people. There's not two different plates in a relationship. You have one. And when you are moving the peas around on the same plate and thinking that you're doing all this stuff and you're not, what's happening is you need to have a paradigm shift, a worldview shift. The way you're thinking has to change. And how I want it to change is to start thinking of a relationship as one shared resource. I talk about this all the time if you've listened to my other videos. But this next few videos I'm doing, I'm going to be breaking this down very specifically. So, in how you can get out of this kind of behavior. So, because when we compete, we end up keeping score. We're looking a lot at our partners to see what they're doing and comparing it to what we're doing. And we have these little lists and we put them side by side, and that becomes a problem. So the first thing I'm going to talk about in today's video is that when you keep score, when you're doing this and keeping score, what you're doing is setting yourselves up on opposite sides. You keep score in games, right? In games and sports, because you have two different teams and you want to see what they're scoring and what you're scoring, and somebody wins and somebody loses. So what happens often in your relationship is you're set up that way. It's a horrible way to be set up. So that if your partner is winning, it means you're losing. And so we tend to maybe not be happy for things that happen for them, or we get again into all that, well, I did this, so you need to do this. And we end up with all this trying to be so fair that we're really missing the point. So what I want you to start thinking about, if you're thinking of you guys as one shared resource, what do you got to do? Well, if you're draining your partner, if your partner is drained, I should say, for any reason, then you're drained. Because you're sharing a resource, you're a shared battery. So if one part of the battery is draining, then guess what? The whole battery is draining. So you always want to be thinking about that. So I'm going to give you two things you need to do today to counteract that. One is you need to subtract things off your plate. So you got to take the shared communal plate, you have to take things off. And the biggie here is that we tend to have a lot of things on our plates that we think are musts or have to happen, and they don't necessarily. If you have children, maybe you think they have to have 2 sports and a language and a instrument, and they have to be doing all this, and they have to be competitive for college, and they have to, and they don't have to. There's people all over the world who are living very healthfully who don't have to do half these things. So I really want you to think about what you can take off the plate, what can leave this communal plate, things you're so sure that have to happen that maybe really don't. And what's going to happen is you're going to need to say that dreaded word, no. No, N-O, is a full sentence. It's a full sentence. You don't need anything else with no. It's just no. And so you don't have to explain, you don't have to say why, that you can't be the chair of the auction committee again this year, and know that you can't take on this new project right now, and no. You don't have to tell people why. You just have to say no, nope, just leave it. It's crazy, right? And when you do that, people are going to get annoyed and they're going to get pissed off because they've been liking the way you've been taking on too much and you've been saying yes to everything. Or most things. So you're going to get pushback. Believe me, you're going to get pushback. Your job is not to get drawn into all that pushback and to instead just keep the no. You don't have to justify, you don't have to explain, because when you start to justify and explain, then you get the argument. Well, yeah, but then you could do this or this could happen. They start to argue with you. You don't want any of that. The second thing you can do besides subtracting and taking things off your plate that you think have to be there that don't, so you have less draining the battery of the couple, the other thing you can do is add resources. So instead of subtracting, you can add. So think about what you can add to the resource of the couple. And that could be, maybe a cleaning person to help clean, or if you already have a cleaning person, maybe you can have them come twice a week instead of once, or once once a week instead of once every other week, or have them also do your laundry. You can hire the kid down the street to clean up the dog poop in your yard. You can, if you don't have money for things, you can think of bartering or swapping. You can talk to maybe another parent about, hey, why don't I carpool and bring the kids on Mondays and you bring them on Tuesdays? And that will give you a Tuesday off and a Tuesday morning off where you don't have to do something. You know, there's little ways to do that. You can ask your best friend to come help clean the garage. And you don't even necessarily have to give anything back in that moment. You can just say, could you please help me? I'll make lunch, or you'll have my undying loyalty, whatever that is. So whatever that is, if you can add a resource, don't always look to your partner to be the resource. Because again, when you do that, you're draining you. Because you're going to drain them, and then the two of you are drained together. So I've created a little worksheet to help you with this, and you can download it from the video. There'll be an arrow somewhere, I'm sorry, that you can download for free, and you can get this little worksheet that's going to help you really identify what you can take off your plate and what resources maybe you could add, so you can really make a commitment to that. You know, write it down, make a commitment, so you can start making changes today. I'm Dr. Abby Medcalf. I help people create lasting change in their relationship, even if their partner won't do one thing.